coming from and growing up in the underground scene in the US, like I really understood the value of community. And when I first, found the music, it was through a teen night at a club, and I got lucky. Like I walked outside and there was flyers for really commercial parties and flyers for an underground party. I somehow picked the right flyer. It was a total accident. So I found my way to the underground scene. I may have ended up there over time, but I got like a express lane to the underground. And the moment, I was always the dancer on the side of the sound system, like dancing, but watching the DJ and watching how they would manipulate things and what it would do to the sound. But then after some time, I would be there at the end of the party and I would help with the cleanup. And, maybe I'd get invited to help with the setup. And then I started to understand all the things that went in, and I knew it was never just this one person. And I think as DJs, we forget that. We show up and play, but we forget that, like, the janitor who cleaned that venue is a part of the success of that night. The bartender, the barback, the door person, the coat check person, they are all part of the magic that is created for us to be on that stage and shine. But without them, we don't even matter, honestly. And I just realized that very quickly, and I stuck with, when I was ready to start throwing my first parties, I got to ask somebody in the community, hey, who do I call for sound? Who do I call for lights? How do I get a hold of this DJ? And they willingly helped me, because none of us, like, how do I say, music is not a competition. These days, it feels like a competition. It is not a competition. All of us supporting each other in some way, whether that be through events, music, A-Slice, whatever it might be, like, that's letting all of us grow and like showing that, we're all in this together in some way. Because otherwise, what are you, one DJ in an empty room playing to yourself? You need the community, really. You need those people. They're the ones who buy the tickets, So, yeah, I always talk about community because that's how I was raised, and I see the importance, and it's like what I said earlier. If all this ended today, I have a community to go back to. I think if you ask a lot of successful DJs today, do they have that? They might not actually have that because they might not have been raised in one. They just sat in their, private space looking at the world through their devices and being like, I want that, instead of actually spending time cleaning up the party at 6 a.m.
You've spoken...
Thank you.
You've spoken on quite a few times in the press about the kind of current ecosystem of things like festivals and the expectations that audiences have of festival sets, and also the expectations placed on artists having to kind of compress an entire sensibility or an entire journey into an hour or 90 minutes. Do you think, or to what degree do you think that what you're talking about, community, is being lost or replaced with something that's more kind of compressed and like, quote unquote value added or whatever?
I mean, I see way more communities in how I define them when I travel outside of Central Europe. I see them in South Africa when I go. I see them in South America. I see them in other countries when I go there, because maybe they're behind the time of what Central Europe's dance scene is. But I actually so value those because I get to feel that energy again. Everything now is an industry here. There's so much money behind it. There's so many people who eat off of this music. And so in turn, everything is dollars and cents. And I don't have a problem with, I do have a problem with festivals, but I don't have a problem with festivals. I just wish they didn't affect our clubs and our communities as much as they do, but they do. And again, breeding the artist or the entertainer. If all you're giving people is 90-minute sets, then you're gonna breed a bunch of entertainers for the moment. Music is gonna be made for the camera moment. DJs are gonna play tracks for the camera moment. Everyone's gonna end up acting for the camera moment. Instead of, again, building art, creativity, community in a club for periods of sets that like force artistry, force community, force connection with each other. When you're in one room with one heartbeat and you're all synced, like that's beautiful. And maybe you can catch that for a few minutes at a festival, but you're already running to the next stage to catch the next thing. And festivals don't have most. When I say festival, big festivals, and I do still play at them, I'm not completely out of them, But big festivals do not breed community. They are just breeding, you know, high ticket sales, overpriced DJs, and short sets. You go to a small 1,000-person festival in the woods somewhere, that's different. Let's not define that as the festival we're talking about.